Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is my week 15 check-in on Zepbound. And today I want to do something a little bit different. Along with my progress update, I want to talk about something that's really important. The growing conversation around GLP-1 medications like Zepbound, Wegovy, and Ozempic and their potential link to eating disorders. First, let's talk about where I'm at. I've been on Zepbound for 15 weeks now, and I'm down a total of, drumroll please, 16 pounds. Very happy with that, guys. I know it's not fast. There are some people I see that are talking about how they blow through 5 to 7 pounds in a week. That is not my style. I want to take this slow and steady, as carefully as possible, because I do believe in my case, and this is just speaking from my experience and who I am, that if I were to rush things, I feel like I would not be successful. And at some point, there may be issues with me rebounding and putting that weight back on. So I want to be real with you guys today. This has not been smooth sailing the whole way. Some weeks, my appetite is basically gone, and I have to remind myself, if not force myself, to eat something. So that brings me to today's topic. I recently read an article from NBCnews.com that raised some serious questions and concerns. It talks about how people taking GLP-1 drugs like Zepbound may be developing or worsening eating disorders. And honestly, as somebody who is on this medication, I felt like it was worth unpacking. According to Dr. Tom Hildebrandt from Mount Sinai, he's seeing more patients who start these meds and end up with symptoms similar to anorexia nervosa, and that is extremely alarming. These drugs work by suppressing appetite and slowing our digestion, but sometimes that leads to extreme calorie restriction, and it's not always on purpose. One woman, Cynthia Landral, shared her story in the article. She started on Mounjaro, lost 30 pounds, and eventually found herself eating only 1/3 of what is recommended for somebody her age and her height. She even fainted twice. Fainted from low blood sugar. So that's a real reminder that weight loss can cross a line into some dangerous territory. Personally, I haven't felt like I'm at an unhealthy place. And maybe it is because I'm taking it slow. I don't know. But something I have noticed is that food sometimes is just not appealing to me. And I've had moments where I wondered, am I under eating? That's a question I never used to ask myself. Not ever. This article really made me think, is this medication helping me, or could it potentially be harming me in a different way? And it made me realize how important it is to stay self-aware and work with both your doctor and if necessary, a mental health professional if you find yourself struggling. Experts are calling for more screening before prescribing these drugs for eating disorders, past history with eating disorders, binge eating, even body image issues. But let's be honest, if you've ever struggled with food, a drug that drastically reduces your appetite can be a double-edged sword. And unfortunately, clinical trials haven't really studied this yet. That means we don't fully understand the risks, especially for people with histories of eating disorders, or even adolescents who are increasingly being prescribed these drugs. One thing I want to jump in with here while we're on the subject of adolescents. One of the reasons I've never shared my starting weight, my actual body weight, I will tell you guys how much I lost, but I've never shared my actual weight in any of my videos. I'm not saying I never will. I'm saying I have not done it so far. And my reason for that is I have concerns that there could be somebody that sees one of my videos and hears me talking about how much I weighed and how much I lost. And that really concerns me in the sense that I worry that they would compare themselves to me. And we've talked about this, or I've talked about this in so many videos. Everyone's experience is unique. You should never compare yourself to another person and think that you should be reacting to the medication, losing weight as quickly, able to do everything they're doing and be as successful as they're being. It really is something that you need to keep in mind. It's about you and your personal experience, not what anybody else is doing. So I have not even compared myself. I know several people, I work with people that are on GLP-1 medications, and not one time have I ever compared my progress to theirs, because I do know people who have in their first 6 months lost 50 pounds or more. But I recognize the fact that there are people that are losing much quicker than I am, much larger amounts of weight than I am. But I never compare that to what I'm doing. I never allow myself to think, oh, yeah, big deal. You lost a pound this week, but look at that person who lost 5 pounds. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Focus on yourself, what's best for you, and keep your eye on what it is you hope to get from this, whether it's better health, lower weight, or both. So some doctors are even prescribing GLP-1s to treat binge eating disorders. And for some people, it does help. But for others, they say these drugs can make things worse, especially for those who go from binging to over restriction. So the medical community is still figuring this out. So what's my takeaway after reading all of this? Well, for me, it's this. Zepbound has been effective, but it's also powerful. And powerful tools need respect. If you're on a GLP-1 medication or thinking about starting, please be mindful of your mental health and your relationship with food. And not just that, but your body image. Do not fall trap to what everybody else looks like, what everybody else is doing, what you see on social media. Focus on you and what your best looks like. If you're noticing obsessive thoughts about eating, extreme restriction, or you're feeling like weight loss is becoming more important than your overall health, that's a red flag. Talk to your doctor, talk to a therapist. You are not alone. There is no shame in seeking help for this. I would love to hear your thoughts. Are you on one of these medications? Have you experienced anything like what I've talked about today? Let's open this conversation in the comments. And of course, if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you don't miss another one of my videos. Thanks so much for being here and for supporting each other. Take care of yourselves mentally and physically, and I will see you in the next video.